If you're like most ambitious people, you've been told to grind harder, squeeze out a little more productivity, and aim for incremental progress. That's the 2x mindset. But what if I told you that doubling your results is actually harder, messier, and more stressful than shooting for 10 times growth? That sounds insane, right? Bigger should mean harder. Yet, paradoxically, 10x is easier than 2x. This idea comes from Dan Sullivan and Dr. Benjamin Hardy's book, 10x is easier than 2x. And once you see how it works, it will permanently change the way you think about growth, goals, and your future. Because this isn't about working more hours or adding more tasks. It's about doing fewer things, better. In this video, I'll break down the key principles of the 10x mindset, how it simplifies your decisions, why it frees you from burnout, and how some of the biggest names in business and creativity are applying it right now. Stick with me until the end, because we'll also map out a practical roadmap you can apply today to start thinking and living 10 times. Section 1. Why 10x is simpler than 2x. Here's the counterintuitive truth. When you go for 2x growth, you're basically trying to keep everything the same, but do it faster, harder, or with more effort. That means dragging along every client, every task, every system, even the ones that barely move the needle. It's exhausting. But when you aim for 10x, everything changes. Suddenly, most of what you're doing is useless. That impossible target forces you to cut the noise. You stop trying to optimize broken systems. You realize there are only a few things that could possibly get you there. The 10x goal becomes a filter. Think about it this way. With a 2 times goal, you can chase dozens of strategies. With a 10x goal, maybe 3. That radical clarity saves you energy, sharpens your focus, and forces you to innovate instead of grind. Section 2. The power of subtraction. At the heart of the 10x philosophy is subtraction. You've probably heard of the 80-20 rule, the idea that 80% of results come from 20% of actions. Dan Sullivan takes it further. He argues that to go 10 times, you must ruthlessly eliminate the 80% that doesn't matter. It's like Michelangelo carving David. The masterpiece wasn't created by adding more marble, but by removing what didn't belong. Same with your life and business. The path to 10x is about chiseling away the trivial, so only the essential remains. And here's the kicker. That subtraction is not just about tasks. It's about relationships, roles, and even parts of your identity that no longer fit the future you're building. That's why 10x feels scary. It demands you shed the comfortable 80% that got you here, but won't get you there. Section 3. Quality beats quantity. A huge misconception is that 10x means producing 10 times more. It doesn't. It's not about volume. It's about quality. Doing fewer things at a level that's radically better. Take YouTube legend Mr. Beast. Most creators pump out videos week after week, hoping incremental improvements will get them noticed. That's 2x thinking. Mr. Beast instead focused on making fewer videos, but at an insane level of quality. He'd spend months on one idea, pouring resources into making it unforgettable. That 10x focus transformed him into one of the biggest creators in the world. This is the essence of qualitative growth. A tiny improvement in a high-leverage area can create disproportionate results. A stronger hook, a better offer, a sharper product, these can trigger exponential outcomes. Section 4. From scarcity to abundance. There's also a mindset shift here. Most people operate from need. They chase goals because they feel they have to, because of pressure, fear, or comparison. That's scarcity thinking. 10x requires want. It's rooted in abundance. You pursue a goal because it excites you, because it aligns with who you are becoming, not because you need to prove something. That shift makes the journey sustainable. You stop playing defense and start creating from inspiration. Section 5. Unique ability and who not how. Now let's talk about 2 frameworks that make 10x possible. First is unique ability. This is the overlap of your talents, passions, and value creation. It's the thing you do so naturally and so well that others can't replicate it. 10x growth happens when you double down on your unique ability and stop wasting energy on everything else. Second is the who not how principle. Instead of asking, how can I do this? You ask, who can do this? Most entrepreneurs are bottlenecked because they try to do everything themselves. That's 2x behavior. The 10x leader frees themselves by building a network of who's, people who are uniquely capable of handling tasks outside their zone of genius. That's how you create freedom of time, money, relationships, and purpose. You stop being trapped in the weeds and start living at the level of strategy and vision. Section 6. The gap and the gain. Here's the psychological trap that kills momentum. High achievers often measure themselves against an ideal. No matter how much progress they make, the gap between reality and perfection leaves them dissatisfied. That's the gap. The gain flips it. Instead of measuring against the ideal, you measure against where you started. You celebrate progress, however small. That shift keeps you motivated, grateful, and energized. This is crucial for 10x. When you set a massive goal, the gap between here and there can feel overwhelming. But by focusing on the gain, you build confidence step by step. You fuel the upward spiral instead of burning out on the treadmill. Section 7. The 4 C's of growth. Dan Sullivan also gives us the 4 C's formula. This is the engine of 10 times transformation. Step 1, commitment. You set a bold, scary goal. Step 2, courage. Since it's outside your comfort zone, you'll feel fear and uncertainty. Step 3, capability. As you struggle forward, you build new skills. Step 4, confidence. Once you've grown those capabilities, your confidence skyrockets, and then the cycle repeats. Each round of the 4 C's equips you to make even bigger commitments. That's how you compound transformation. One warning here. Technology can help with delegation, but it can't replace this cycle. You can't outsource courage. You can't shortcut the capability stage without weakening your foundation. Real confidence comes from earning it through the struggle. Section 8. The hard part, letting go. Now let's be real. The hardest part of 10x is not strategy. It's identity. Most of us cling to the 80% because it feels safe. It's what made us successful in the first place. Letting go of clients, habits, or even skills that no longer serve us feels like losing a part of ourselves. But that loss is necessary. You can't step into a 10x future while holding on to the comfort of the past. That's why this process feels like radical surgery. It's not just changing what you do, it's changing who you are. Section 9. Putting 10x into action. So how do you actually apply this? Here's a roadmap. Clarify your 10x vision. What's the bold, exciting future that feels almost unreachable? Identify your unique ability. What's the 1 or 2 things you can do at a world-class level? Ruthlessly subtract. Cut the 80% that doesn't align with your vision. Embrace the who not how concept. Build a network of who's to handle the rest. Measure the gain. Regularly track your progress against where you started. This roadmap isn't easy, but it's simple. And that simplicity is the power of 10x. So here's the paradox. Aiming for 2x keeps you trapped in busyness, chasing small wins, and burning out. Aiming for 10x forces you to simplify, focus, and transform. It's not just a growth strategy, it's a reinvention strategy. Dan Sullivan and Benjamin Hardy's 10x is easier than 2x is more than a book. It's a playbook for creating freedom, mastery, and purpose in a noisy, distracted world. If you want to go deeper into these frameworks, I've dropped a link to the book in the description. Because here's the truth. The world doesn't need more people trying to work harder for marginal gains. It needs more people bold enough to think 10x, subtract the non-essential, and create breakthroughs that actually matter.